Yo, what's up, guys? So, in today's video, I'm talking about why having a 9 to 5 is important. This is a hot take because a lot of things I've seen online say quit your 9 to 5. It's not good to have a job. Try to make 10K online a month. Try to do this. Try to start an online business. It's bullshit. If you're starting at the bottom and your life's a mess, you have to, first off, you have to take a step back from social media. I'm going to say when I did my big self-development change, I took a step back because at first I was so focused on how do I make money online? How do I do this? How do I get a Lamborghini? How do I buy a house? Because all this bullshit online. You have to take a step back and you have to focus on the basics. I'm going to make a more in-depth video on how to change your life and really how to build a strong foundation to a good life. But in today's video, I'm going to specifically talk about why it's good to have a 9 to 5 job. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a 9 to 5. My job is 6 to 2:30, which is honestly, I love those hours. But just a regular job. There's 2 points I want to make in the beginning. One, not everyone can be a business owner at the same time, let alone ever. And two, even if you are a business owner, a lot of them start at a job. So let me go over number one. To run a business, if you want to be a business owner, unless you're doing some AI shit or you're doing one-on-one coaching, any other business, like a brick and mortar, to have a store, to have a restaurant, to have an agency, all these different things, you have to have employees. The world wouldn't run if everyone was a fucking business owner. You have to have employees. So even if you wanted to be a business owner, it was always good to start as an employee because you learn things that you wanted if you just went straight into entrepreneurship. A lot of the biggest entrepreneurs now, for example, Jeff Bezos, started at McDonald's. These people start at regular jobs and it's okay because they had the vision. They're like, listen, I'm going to be someone bigger one day, but right now I'm okay with flipping burgers. I'm okay with going through the grind. All these kids now, you go on social media, they want to have $5 million by their 18. You have to go in steps. So you're not just going to go in the video game of life and start at the top. You got to work your way up. You got to eat through the shit. So it kind of pisses me off. Not that I'm not where I want to be. I still want to grow, but I'm kind of content. I'm very happy where I'm at right now and where I'm going. But it frustrates me because I used to think the same way. I used to be like, oh, I'm 18, I'm 20, I want to have everything at once. You got to eat through the shit. You got to work your way up. And for those who get successful at a very young age and they haven't ate the shit yet, they'll get that money, they don't know how to act. They're flexing, they're showing off, and then boom, they've blown through all their money because they haven't been through hardship. And then number two, like I said, there's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur or a business owner or an influencer or whatever. But there's nothing wrong with having a job and working up to that. A lot of these online businesses, you only need a few hours. Even if you're building a brand online, you could have a regular job. As soon as you get out of that job, you put hours into the side hustle. On the weekends, you put hours into the side hustle. So I don't want to hear, oh, I can't have a job, I can't have a 9 to 5. A majority of people saying that, they don't know what they're talking about. So let's dive into it. What a job does, I feel like, in my opinion, is I'm gonna give you an example of how I look at it. When I was getting big into my self-development journey, I basically didn't have a job at a time because it was 2020, 2021. I was in COVID just like everyone else. I had a job. I got laid off on unemployment. And at first it seemed great. Like I'm 20, 21 years old. I'm getting money every week from the government, which I didn't want to. At first, I really didn't want to go on unemployment, but like everyone's doing it. So it's like I got laid off from my job. They closed down because of COVID. If everyone's doing it, I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to turn it down. Obviously, I took it. But after a while, for the first few months, it felt great. I was 20 years old, 21. I'm getting money every single week for doing nothing. I had all this free time. So I basically had passive income coming in, doing nothing, and had all this free time. At first, it was great. The first few months, it was awesome. The more and more I got into it, I lost purpose. I wasn't even like happy. Like the first few months were great, don't get me wrong. But after a few months, it really caught on to me. I almost wished I had a job or the job I used to have because you don't have any structure. That's why, like, when people win the lottery and they quit their job and they start blowing money, they like become miserable because they have no structure, no plan to the day, no discipline. And basically, I started waking up when I want, go to sleep when I want, eat when I want. And it was just like, I was a mess. My hours of sleep were like fucking crazy. Sometimes I'll go to bed at 3 a.m., wake up at like 11. I wake up at 5 in the fucking morning now, or like 4:50, very consistently. And when you get to this point of like, I had money, I had a place to sleep, and like, I'm getting all this money and free time. I just literally, I felt like I had no structure, no purpose. That's very important too. I like wasn't doing anything productive to society. And I just felt lost. And I literally wish I had a job. I was trying to get like an off the books job, but like I didn't want to mess with the taxes and the unemployment and shit like that. So I ended up getting a job at the end of COVID, like once the unemployment laid off, and like people started getting like 2020, 2021 was like the thick of COVID. Everything started getting back to normal around like 22, 23. So I had a job around then another job, and then the job I'm at now. But in that period, I changed my life because I was working at a pizzeria. Then I was working like right at the end of unemployment just to get my feet going, get used to the working scene. Then I was working at Amazon. Then as I was doing those two jobs, I was like, listen, like I never went to college. I want to get a skill to go in a blue collar field. And honestly, I had this whole plan. Like I wanted to get into the railroad, and basically I applied a bunch of times. They didn't hire me because I really didn't have any skills. So I'm like, let me strategically get this CDL so I have a skill to get in the railroad, and it literally all worked out. I literally, honestly, to this day, it's like amazing how everything worked out. When I was in the middle of COVID and I was getting my self-development journey going, and I'm going to do another video on that as well to go more in depth to really understand how to change your life as well, comparing mine. But I said to myself, I'm going to stop smoking weed. Number one, I'm going to get the CDL, and I'm going to get into the railroad. I stopped smoking. I went to CDL school. I passed my road test. I started applying again. Then I got in there. I applied 5 times before I got my CDL and never got in. Then as soon as I got my CDL, I got into the position I wanted to. So that was a very important part to like my self-development / just like life path journey. But even the pizzeria, even Amazon, even the job I'm at now, when I got the job again, you know what I got? I got structure and discipline. which I really like. I don't know, like I'm like a workaholic, low key. I don't mind working for a company. Like, I like having the discipline and be like, listen, I wake up at this time, I clock in, I have responsibilities, and it just gives me structure to my day. It gives me structure to the week and the month and year. Like, I feel like, one thing I'm going to say, you want to try and pick something you enjoy. Everyone's like, oh, what's your passion? Pick something you love. Like, you don't necessarily have to go crazy for it. As long as you somewhat enjoy your work and you like it and you don't dread going to work every day, that's good enough. And then over time, you could be more purpose driven. But in the beginning, you have bills to pay, you have to have a structure. So at least try to find something that you enjoy it, but you don't necessarily like, oh, I can't wait to fucking go on to work. You just don't want to dread it and enjoy it. And if you're at a position right now where you're going to work and you really hate it, you got to change it, because there's a difference between a job and a career. I understand if it's your career and you went to school for that, or it took you a very long time to get that position and they have good benefits, good pay, then you have to think about it a little more. But if you're just working some regular job where you could quit that fucking job and just get another job in like next week, just change it. And then if you're at a job where you don't have a skill, highly consider that. CDL, plumbing, electrical, HVAC. I'm naming a lot of like blue collar work because like I feel like that's the best way, because you could get experience pretty quick and they have good benefits and pay, and like, I don't know, I feel like blue collar is the route. I'm just saying that because I'm never I'm not like an office type of person, but you want to get a skill and then get into a position that you somewhat enjoy. And then as you build that and you get that skill and get that position, then you structure your life around it. Your wake up time, your off days, and say you wake up at this time, you go into work, you get out, you go to the gym, you eat. All the time outside of that, you could put towards learning an online skill. You could put towards maybe building a brand like what I'm doing on YouTube, or just getting more knowledge about like self-development and like improving your life, either if it's finances, fitness, nutrition, diet, all those types of things. It doesn't even have to be a business or an online side hustle. It can literally just be like, how can I get better as a person and how can I improve my life? There's a lot of people at work I know that don't do that. Every single day I'm listening to podcasts, I'm watching self-development YouTube videos, and it shows. People are like shocked how like I'm progressing very, not fast, like somewhat fast, but like it takes time. But a lot of people don't do this. They get into their position and then they just settle, where you could still learn stuff on the side. So basically what I want you to do and realize is, don't look down on it. There's nothing wrong with having a position, grinding it out, and then you want to open up a business. Then you want to do this on the side. I would say the only time you would have to do that is if you're trying to open up a business that is in person. Like if you want to open up a restaurant or if you want to open up a store, that's kind of a different story because that takes a lot of hours and a lot of time. But if you want to learn trading, investing, social media marketing, e-commerce, all this shit, you do not need to quit your job for that. You could literally do it on the side. So what a job brings you, I'm sorry if I got on a rant, but I'm going to highlight the main things it brings you. Stability. So a structure, I'll say structure. It gives you structure to your day, your week, your schedule. You have purpose too. So structure and purpose are at the top. And also you have stable income. So you could start building your life around this, because my career is like the center of my schedule, the center of my life and my finances. And then I build around it. It's like a foundation. When you don't have any foundation and you're like, let me just quit this shit and try to open up a business I've never done before, you start getting lost. And if anything, I will say too, there's times where I will get more stuff done on my work day, outside of work, than my off day. Because I'll go to work, I'll get going, like I'll start the day, I'll wake up early, I have energy, I get out. And then I know I already used a decent amount of like time for my day, and I get out and I get a bunch of shit done. And then compared to my off day, I'm like, you know what, today's an off day, let's chill a little bit, let's relax. Like, I, for the most part, try to get stuff done on those days too. But you chill a little bit. You're like, you know what, I have the off day, let me just chill. And then I barely get anything done compared to the days I do work. So think, if you didn't have a job for weeks on end or months on end, you think you're going to get more stuff done, but you're not. Because you don't have a structure, you don't have discipline, you don't have drive, you don't have like the presence of other people working, you don't have the stable income, because if you quit that, then you have no income at all. And you just have no foundation and structure. That's the best way. Like, if I want you to take away something from this video, in my opinion, fuck what all the people say online. Take a break from that. If you're starting from the bottom, even if you're a little older than me, there's nothing wrong with working a job. The best way I describe it is a foundation or a base. You build around that, you learn skills, you can invest, and you can honestly make an amazing life for yourself doing that, rather than someone quitting. And like, I'm not saying you can't quit. Obviously, there's people that do that and they're successful. But my opinion is, I think it's a great thing to have, and you could still be very successful with that. And you have to keep in mind too, there's people that love what they do. Say if you became a nurse, you became a teacher, stuff like that. First off, people have to do those jobs. Even like a police officer, people have to do those jobs. If everyone was an entrepreneur, if everyone was a fucking drop shipper, the world wouldn't work. There would be no cops, there would be no nurses, everyone's just hitting buttons on the laptop. Like, the world wouldn't work like that. So you have to respect the people that do take that path. And some of the people that take that path, they take pride in it and they enjoy it. And everyone's success is different. They might not want to travel every single country. They might enjoy their hometown. And they might not want to have a super lavish lifestyle. Their purpose-driven career might be what inspires them. So you have to really take this into consideration. And I'm basically, if I were to make this video, like if this video is directed to someone, I'm basically directing it to who I was before. I had no problem working a job, but in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to do something more as well. For the most part, I really feel like you could have a very successful life doing this. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing saying, oh, you picked this job, you're not going to be successful. You could have purpose, stable income, and open up a business all at the same time as you work your 9 to 5, as you work your job. And it sets you apart from others. Like, I realized too, when you're really locked in on your purpose, you have to reflect and be like, listen, what do I really want to do? And what path do I want to take? When you know you're like, listen, I'm going to grind it out a few years at this job, save up some money, open up a little side hustle. All this online internet shit, it gets irrelevant. You get put in a box. Like, everyone could be going on some viral trend or doing this or saying that. And also, I realized too, is people be pulling you in different directions. They have different opinions and takes and make money this way. This is bad. This is good. This is bad. When you know your path and you know your certainty, you stick on that path. All that other shit is irrelevant. You're like, listen, this is the path I'm taking. And you put on the tunnel vision, like you put on the blockers and be like, it doesn't matter how he's making money. It doesn't matter what he thinks or this woman thinks. This is what I'm doing. This is the path I'm taking. And you have to trust that process and grind it out. So I hope you appreciate that video. We got some new videos dropping this week. And I appreciate everyone watching.